Force will be with you, always.
Temuera Morrison is back. Does that mean another season of Boba Fett? Well, not necessarily, because it's being reported that Temuera Morrison is coming back to the Ahsoka series and going to be playing Captain Rex. According to One Take News, Temuera Morrison is coming back to the Mandoverse, though not as Boba Fett this time. Instead, the website has learned that the actor will be playing Captain Rex in the upcoming Ahsoka series, which debuts this August on Disney+. Of course, this makes complete sense given the Ahsoka and Captain Rex's history together after they bonded during the Clone Wars.
If they try to leave, they'll have to go through us. So what do? Fight our way to the shuttle?
There are too many. Besides, I don't want to hurt them.
I hate to tell you this, but they don't care. This ship is going down, and those soldiers, my brothers, are willing to die and take you and me along with them.
Rex returned in Rebels to assist the title group in some of their missions after Ahsoka sent them to find Rex and other clones that had survived the war. We still don't know if Rex is dead during the New Republic era, but he could also be part of a flashback. One Take News wasn't able to confirm either way. So we don't know specifically what it's going to be, but this makes complete sense. If we're going to follow the Ahsoka timeline, Captain Rex is a big part of that. And with Temuera Morrison playing Boba Fett, of course, all of the clones would be like him. It seems like a perfect fit. It says also inside the report, there's a mention of Lucasfilm executives being very impressed by how the series came together, and that it was a big factor in Dave Filoni getting his own Star Wars movie. Check that out. We already talked about that recently. Said film will act as the culmination of the ongoing plot thread that was started with The Mandalorian, and that will continue with Ahsoka and beyond. A second season of the Rosario Dawson-led series will depend on how the first one performs. So they're not committing to any of these reports or any of these series until they see how they do, which I guess is wise. But honestly, if you just make these well, if the writing is done well and the execution is good, there will always be a market for these shows, guaranteed. And if they want to continue making these, then put the time in to do the work. Even Temuera Morrison was quoted here talking and referencing back to the book of Boba Fett that there hasn't been announced yet, or at least I haven't seen, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, another Book of Boba Fett season. And here's what he had to say. Well, that Mando guy stole a few chapters of my book. It was painful watching him turn up with some new black lethal sword. And the way he turned up in my Book of Boba, he just destroyed everybody. I'm sure this guy is ruining my show, but I couldn't say anything. I'm not the writer, so I have to bear it, I guess. It's interesting. What did you think of the Book of Boba Fett? Did you think that bringing Mando in as much as they did, it kind of just felt like they were just trying to keep the Mandoverse focused on Mando instead of Boba? I think there was some controversy over that. Would love to know what you think about that. But I think this is just great news for what's happening. So as we get this news and we see that Temuera Morrison is apparently ready or should be slated to go with Ahsoka, but we also had the news that he was going to be in Mandalorian Season 3, and apparently some of that was scrapped. So we have to kind of take all of this with a grain of salt before we get too excited, but I think this is a really good thing. It expands and keeps a great actor on the screen and brings about some of the stories from one of the best characters that we've seen come out of Clone Wars and in Rebels in Captain Rex. Let me know what you think down below. Are you excited for this? Does this make you get more excited for the Ahsoka series? Or are you kind of holding out, just assuming, well, we've kind of thought this before and then he doesn't show up, so I'm not going to go all in. Me personally, I might be getting a little too behind the Ahsoka series, but I think this is going to be the best thing since Mandalorian Season 2. That's kind of my hope. at least. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you don't know who Captain Rex is, you should definitely check out Clone Wars, or at least watch some of Rebels to get an idea of how he weaves into the current storyline as we're picking up in the Ahsoka series. You're definitely not going to regret doing that. And remember, the Force will be with you always.